You know, I wake up every morning, my first thought is, what part of me is not working today?
Yeah, we are passengers on boats slowly sinking.
Your boat is slow? I'm like when the Titanic was pointing up.
Chuck Lorre's latest attempt at harnessing the beast known as streaming is a definite improvement over the stoner faceplant of the now canceled Disjointed. But the Big Bang Theory co-creator still has a ways to go, as the Netflix November 16th launching the Kominsky method makes very clear. First things first though, Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin are great as the aged, almost hit the jackpot actor Sandy Kominsky, now teaching and sleeping with his acting students, and his longtime and deeply suffering agent Norman. However, the potholes in what could be Grace and Frankie for boys is that this AARP tale is a whole lot of setups and bits with nowhere really to go. And that's on the scripts, my friend Mr. Lorre, which often feel like scraps of the early years of 2.5 Men with a comb-over.
You're still seeing, what's her name, Trisket?
Tristan, and no.
Oh, that's too bad. She was kind of cute.
Well, we didn't have much to talk about. You know, she was half my age.
Half your age is still an old woman.
Fuck you, Norman.
Do the math.
Look, I'll admit it, if a broadcast network sitcom on a streaming service is your thing, then Kominsky has a method for you. There's jabs at CBS for now being too diverse in its casting, Cocoon for suddenly seeming too relevant, way too many urination complications, cheap shots dressed up as sideswipes at entitled millennials, a Danny DeVito cameo, and not too much very deep or interesting to really say about growing old, but still with a bit of cash in your pocket in the dream town known as Los Angeles. Which is not to say the 10-episode first season of the Kominsky method isn't fun. It actually is at a number of junctions, especially with Douglas, back for his very first series lead role since the always close to my heart streets of San Francisco in the 70s, holding nothing back in terms of vanity or otherwise, and Arkin, toggling between looming heartbreak and loneliness as his wife is dying, and desert sand dry deliveries that slay almost every time. But unlike the obvious comparisons to the Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin-led Grace and Frankie, or when it comes to Kominsky's acting seminars, HBO's Barry, The Last Man Standing Nancy Travis, Sarah Baker, and Lisa Edelstein, co-star here, has no foils, conflicts, or much of anything to push against, which, long story short, means it lacks spark. As for Travis as Sandy's latest love interest, Baker as his daughter, and house vet Edelstein as Norman's troubled offspring, they are actually little more than warm props here in what is in every way I must say, an old boys club.
Listen to me, we're all scared because it's a scary fucking world. But we get through it because we're not alone.
Who do I have?
Me, you dumb shit!
Now, I'm not quite sure why the Kominsky method would need a season 2, which you'll see if you give it the light binge it deserves for Douglas and Arkin. But if it does get one, a greater emphasis does have to be made on the female characters, who often seem to be much more interesting than the guys, but of whom we see little. You see, diversity, in the most literal sense, is what makes a Golden Girls, a Cocoon, or Grace and Frankie succeed. For all the heavy lifting that Fonda and Tomlin achieve in that Netflix series, there are great sprints from Martin Sheen and Sam Waterston as their out-of-the-closet ex-husbands. The Kominsky method, if it wants to succeed, needs to get on that track, and it needs to learn to compete on that level, with complexity and not just one-liners.